Hey there, my name is Kelly Dale and I'm owner of Off the Beaded Path, which is located in Forest City, North Carolina. For today's video, I'm going to show you how to make a fun pair of circular brick stitch earrings. A few years ago, one of my customers came in with a picture of a pair of earrings and she wanted to make something similar to it. She went crazy. I showed her how to make these and she went crazy and made tons of these. And she gave me a pair and I wear them a lot. I mean, all the time. So I decided to teach you guys how to make them. Really simple. All you need is some size 8 seed beads of your favorite color. You're going to need a size 11 seed bead to either completely blend with that size 8 or accent it, you know, completely different. You're going to need some 20mm rings. Now, I'm going to be using the Beading Quick Links rings. One side is smooth and the other side has a diamond cut to it, and I love to use those because it really adds a little texture to the earring. You're also going to need about 2 yards for each earring of a 6-pound Fireline, and you'll want to use a color that will coordinate good with the color beads that you're using. So either the crystal, the smoke, you know, whatever color you want to use. I'm going to be needing, or you're going to need one size 12 beading needle or a needle of your choice. It doesn't matter. You're going to need 2 Jumprings. You'll want these to be a smaller size, like a 4mm, 5mm, something to that effect. And you'll need a pair of earring hooks to go with them. So get your materials together and we'll get started. These are the circular earrings that I'm going to be teaching you how to make today. This one is a little bit of a larger version than this one here. This one's just a tad bit smaller. This is the one I'm going to be showing you how to do. And basically what you want to do is you want to thread your needle onto one end of a 2-yard piece of Fireline. And this is my 20mm ring that I was telling you about. As you can see, one side has a laser cut to it that gives it an effect. The other side is just a plain side. So to start out with, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my thread and I'm going to tie it onto the end. I'm going to take my thread, go through the loop, and I'm going to tie the thread onto the hoop. So I have a short tail, and then I have my working thread. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, so hopefully you'll see it a little better. There you go. Okay, you're going to pick up 2 size 8 seed beads. Let those drop all the way down to the base. So it's going to be just like this. Take your needle and stick it through your loop. And then I'm going to grab this second bead that I put on here, and I'm just going to go up through that one bead. And I hold the bead in place, and I'm going to pull the thread. So that when you pull, now you have 2 beads laying on the base that are side by side. Now the first bead sits just a little wonky. It sits kind of to the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come up through that one bead, that first bead that I added, and then I'm going to come back down through the bead I just went through, so that both beads are now anchored very well along the side of the hoop. Now at this point you're just going to do brick stitch, and this is very much like the earrings that I taught you how to do around the 4th of July, where we did it around another type of hoop, but this time we're going to put beads all the way around. So we're dropping a bead, stick your needle through the loop, and then come back through the same bead you're coming out of, or the same bead that you just added, and pull. So that your 3 beads sit side by side, just like so. We're going to go around the whole thing. You're going to pick up one bead, let that bead drop all the way down, stick the needle through the loop, and then go through the seed bead that you just added. And I always hold my bead and pull the thread. Pick up a bead, let it drop all the way down to the base, stick the needle through the loop, and then go through the bead you just added. And you want to do this all the way around the loop. Once you've gone all the way around, this is what you'll have. Now, I don't have enough room here to actually add another bead. So, what I'll do to finish out the row is I'm going to come up through the very first bead that I added on the base. And when you come through that one, that will link it together here at the top. Then I'm going to go down through the last bead that I added. And now that round is complete on the circle. So you're ready to start your second round. And before I forget, I can't tell you a specific number of beads that will go on your base circle. The reason being is because everybody may use different sizes of rings. It does not have to be this size that I'm using. This is just a fun size to use. But you can do this circular stitch around any solid form. So I'm not going to tell you a count because some people may stitch softer than I do, some people tighter. So each person is going to have a different count of beads. It's completely fine. Don't worry about it. You just want to have beads all the way around. Now, to do the second row, we're going to be adding rows of beads along this first row. Now, the biggest thing that you have to understand is you're going to do increases in these rows. So, the first thing you're going to do is pick up 2 beads, just like we did to start with. Now, if you look at in between each bead, I have what I call a thread bridge. And the bridge basically is the thread between this bead and this bead. Here's my bridge between this bead and this bead. My bridge between this bead and this bead. So to start out, I'm coming out of this bead right here. I picked up my 2 beads and I'm going to come under the bridge right between the bead I'm exiting and the very next bead. So when you pull, your beads are going to lay like this. I'm going to go down through the second bead that I added to anchor the beads. Now, they're anchored, but this one's still sitting a little woppy-jawed. So I'm going to take the needle, I'm going to come up through that one bead. That'd be the first bead that I picked up. And then I'm going to come down through the second bead. Just like that. Now, I'm going to start just regular brick stitching. So I'm going to come pick up one bead. I'm going to come up under the thread bridge between the bead, the very next little section here. And I'm going to go down through the bead. Pick up a bead. I'm going to come to my next section here. I'm going to go under that bridge. And then down through the bead I just added. Now this is the thing to think about, and you have to add as you work. There is a good bit of space. I still have enough room here to put another bead between my bridge here. This would be the next bridge I would go under, but there's still a good bit of room here before I actually get to the thread bridge. So we're going to do what's called an increase in the brick stitch. So I'm picking up one bead and I'm going to come under the same thread bridge that I was just coming out of. So I come under the thread bridge to add this one. Now I'm coming under the same one to add this one bead. So I'm going to come under it. I'm going to go down through the bead I just added. So that increased by one bead. Now I'm just going to continue to brick stitch. So I'm going to pick up one bead. I'm going to go under my thread bridge right here. Go through the bead I just added. Pick up one bead. Come under my thread bridge. And you'll just have to pay attention as you stitch as to how much room do you have between your beads. This is something that I can't really tell you exactly how to do. This is something that you're going to have to train your eye to see. See, like right here, I've got a good bit of room here before my next thread bridge. So I'm going to pick up one bead. I'm going to go under the same thread bridge, the same one I just went under. Go through my bead. Pick up one bead and go under the thread bridge. So it's kind of one of those things, you're just going to have to train your eye, and you'll be able to see. You'll be able to, when you put a bead on there, if it's not, if you need to increase, you'll see that bead sit way to the side, because you want your beads to sit just right next to each other, just like mine do here. This is not a hard stitch, so don't make it difficult, okay guys? Sometimes we have the tendency to make the easy things hard. Just train your eye, just train it to watch. You're only going to need to increase probably about every 4 to 5 stitches, and sometimes not even then. You'll just have to look and see. But each time I'm just picking up a bead, going under the thread bridge, and then going back through the same bead. Now see right here, I've got a good bit of room left between this, with the bridge I just went under, and the other bridge. So I'm going to pick up a bead, go under the same bridge, and then go through the bead I just added. And then I'll pick up a bead and go under the thread bridge right there that I would have originally went under. So each time you'll just kind of have to pay attention and watch what you're doing. And you'll be, like I said, you'll be able to see when you need an additional bead in there, because your bead will sit way to the side. So you want to continue until you finish up with this row, adding your beads and doing any increases as need be. I'm to the end of my second row, and again, I don't have enough room here to put another bead in between my first and last one. So I'm just going to take my needle, and I'm going to come up through the first bead that I added for the row, and then down through the last bead that I added. So that way, that pulls it together and finishes the second row. So we're going to do a third row. So I'll show you again real quick how to start. You're going to pick up 2 beads, go up under the thread bridge right there where your bead is coming out, or your thread is coming out. I'm going to go through the second bead that I added. I'm going to come up through the first bead that I added to anchor it, and then back through that second bead again to finish it out and make sure it's good and anchored. Now you're going to continue, and you're going to finish out this row and do as many rows as you want to. This one here has 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4. These actually have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. So you can see a little bit of the size difference. There is a little bit there. So you'll basically want to continue and do as many of the circles as you want to do. Remember, each time you need to do your increases so that way it'll look nice and full like this one does here. So I'm going to continue on until I have my 4 rows for my matching earring. My 4 rows are complete, and this is what I have. Now, we need to go ahead and we're going to add the little surface embellishments here along the edge just to give us a neat little edging. So to do that, I'm coming out of the last bead that I had added there on the row, and I'm going to be using my size 11 seed bead. And all you're going to do is you're coming out of one bead, you're going to go straight back down through just that same bead on that row only. So just through the one bead there, pull it, and then go right up through the very or go right through the very next bead on that row. Pick up 111, go down through the very same bead, or up through the very same bead you're coming out of. Pull it nice and tight, and then come up through the very next bead for that row. And you're going to go around the whole piece, picking up a seed bead, come up through the one you just added, and then go down through the next bead on that row. And this edging is just going to give it a little bit of a finish. If you look and you have even numbers along the outer edge, you can also do like a little 3-bead P-coat from one bead to the next. But that is, to me, this is the easiest and the quickest option for the sides. So just continue to go around the whole piece, adding your size 11. So now I've gone all the way around the piece, adding my edging, and I am exiting out of the very first edging of size 11 that I had added to start with here. And all you're going to do is pick up your jump ring. I'm coming out of one side of my bead, so I'm just going to come back around through that same seed bead to make a circle. And I'm going to pull so that when I pull, my jump ring lays atop the seed bead. I'm going to stick the needle through the jump ring and then go back to the seed bead again. And I'm going to do this about 5 times, or as many times as I can get the needle back through the seed bead, just to make sure I have a good connection here with the jump ring. Now once I've got that done and I've gone through, you'll want to take your thread and stitch back through your piece, and you want to add a couple of half-hitch knots along the way. So you go under the thread, between a bead and the bead right next to it, leave yourself a little loop and pull. And you want to go through and just add yourself a couple of half-hitch knots. And it's going to get really tight. And see, I'm just going back through the seed bead at the top too, so that way I don't have to worry about messing up any of my thread paths. But it only takes just a couple of these little knots to finish it up. And then I'm going to trim the tail. Then I'm going to take my ear wire, open up the loop to the ear wire, thread on the jump ring, and then close your ear wire, so that now you have a beautiful new pair of circular brick stitch earrings. And like I said, you can make these bigger, you can make them smaller simply by adding or taking away a row of beads. Now, before I forget, I do want to tell you, if your piece starts to look real wavy and wobbly, you've added too many increases and you may want to take a couple of the increases out. Or just take it and lay it flat on a surface and press it down and see if that helps any. But that is the circular brick stitch. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video for this week. I know that it was kind of quick, but this is such a simple project that you guys will make tons of these and they'll be very quick projects. We're going to have 4 colorways on our Etsy site, as well as I'm going to make a smaller version of these and make them look like little Christmas wreaths for cute little Christmas earrings. So you can check those out on our Etsy site. I'll also have a written pattern for this, so that way you can look at that also. So I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.